Hi everybody, I personally wanted to apologize for the recent miscommunication and to clarify the situation. Last year in 2016 we had this crazy idea of creating an icon-based watch from scratch. Two guys helped by their wives. With the first prototype in hand, we decided to launch a crowdfunding campaign because Kickstarter, for instance, is a fantastic opportunity for creators like us. It allows to test the concept, the feature set, the value proposition, to get feedback. And it's also a great way to pre-sell the product and therefore finance a part of the mass production. At the time, we came up with a price that we thought was fair, but it was impossible to know exactly how much it would cost. We also set up a delivery date to March 2017 that seemed far away at the time. The campaign went very well, thanks to all of you, and we will always be grateful for that. But you know, there are very few real companies born out of a Kickstarter, and some iconic ones didn't last. Take the Pebble Watch, for instance. They did a Kickstarter campaign 10 times bigger than us, and unfortunately for them, it didn't end well. For those of you who followed our journey from the start, you already know all the issues we went through, but let me resume for the others. Right after the Kickstarter campaign, in August, we needed to start the manufacturing process for real. And we quickly realized that we could take nothing from our prototype. And that's okay, that's usually the case. We had to redo everything so it's easier to assemble, easier to source the component, ready to pass the certifications, and so on. So we started to work with a new team. New electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, iOS, Android engineer, firmware. There are a lot of skills, and unfortunately, one single man can't have them all. Omar on his side was coding the backend, taking care of the database and the infrastructure. Myself, I was doing the rest, the packaging, the marketing, the website, the community management, the testing, etc. By October, we were ready with a solid documentation in hand so that we could do a request for quotation and find our factories. After a lot of meetings, of talkings, we finally find a factory to make the molds and the plastics, and another factory to make the electronics and the final assembly. But please do understand that when you are a startup, it's really hard because you have no leverage, you have no money, no real forecast except few thousand of units to make, and you represent basically nothing to the factories compared to the other bigger companies. It's clearly impossible to negotiate late penalty fees, for instance, and believe me, I tried. But anyway, we were happy with our choices, interest, and ready to get started. In the meantime, I was following an acceleration program in San Francisco. It's called ACE. They prepared us to pitch to retailers, to sell our product to professionals. It was awesome. I mean, could you imagine how lucky we were coming from France, knowing nothing about how it works in the US? We went to Minneapolis with them and we pitched to Target in their headquarters. You can find photos and tweets about it. We didn't hide the fact that we were talking to big box retailers. Being distributed at Target is a dream for every startup. It went very well. It went so well that they wanted us in their stores for the transition of May. For those who don't know, in retail, you usually have 2 transitions per year. The only 2 moments when they add new products to their shelves. But remember, we engaged to ship our backers in March. So May seems to be reasonable. From this moment, we were not allowed to talk about the deal because the negotiations have started. In November, we finally find an agreement with the factories so that we could sign the contract, and they were okay with delivering the product in March to all of you guys. We passed the first purchase order, we wired the money, we sent all the 3D files, the documentation, even prototypes. We set up weekly meetings and everything seems to be on track. From December to January, we passed the certifications for Octopus, but also for specifically the batteries, because actually we had to make our own lithium-ion batteries in a factory in China, so we had to certify them. I spare you the detail, but it's very time-consuming. We also went to CES in Las Vegas, very important because you talk to potential partners, investors, journalists. In February, we realized that we had a problem. Mass production was supposed to start, but it couldn't because the molds to make the plastics were not ready at all. So my partner, Omar, flew to China only to discover that, nothing was ready. But we are still super optimistic, and we announced that the production will be delayed only 1 month. On the other factory, back in Tijuana, the motherboards were ready, all the supplies were there, the batteries, the displays, the flash memories, etc. By the way, at this point, we still have signed nothing with Target. We were totally transparent with them. We said we need to postpone because we must ship to our backers first. And it seems to be very, very difficult to ship to Target by May. In March, the molds are done, but the quality is very, very bad. The colors were off, the parts didn't fit together, a lot of imperfections. So we asked them to redo again. And we postponed the delivery date one more time to April. Honestly, what could we do? We were behind their back every day, every single day. And what is really frustrating is that we were 100% ready on our side. Later, in March, we finally found an agreement with Target. They said they would make an exception just for us and put our product in stores at the end of July. But we must ship them by mid-July. And again, that was okay. They gave us a forecast plan, but still no purchase order yet. So one important thing to know is that on our side, we need to place purchase orders at least 3 months before the delivery date so that the factories can source all the components and be ready. In April, story repeats itself. We make little progress regarding plastics. Molds are still not okay. We got some samples, they are not good. I go to Tijuana to check the production line. Everything is ready, but plastics. We continue to update you guys every 2 weeks on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. So for those who say that we are not communicating enough, it's really unfair. Please compare to other campaigns. We were even publishing videos and photos almost every other day on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. In April, still, this is when we passed the purchase order for the target batch to our factory without having a purchase order from them. So it's a huge risk I took here, but it was the only solution because they said they will only place their purchase order in June. In May, we are still not happy with the plastics. We asked them to rework the molds for the 4th time. In parallel, we discovered that the glue and the gluing system were not good. We tested them, of course, with prototypes, but it's not the same when you work with the final plastic material. So we had to change the brand of the glue. We had to buy robots, actually 2, to put the glue instead of doing it manually. Super expensive robots. We also discovered that it was not sustainable to flash the firmware individually. So we had to buy a flashing station, crazy expensive too. But anyway, in accordance with the factory, we put together a new timeline and the plan was to fulfill all the orders by mid of June. At this stage, no real mass production has been done yet because the factory doesn't have enough plastics. So they only do small series, pre-series, I should say, and they base their production rates and their production plan on 30 seconds to assemble a watch. In May, at last, we have enough plastics to start mass producing. Omar and I, we are in Tijuana. The line is ready and everything. This time seems to be going smoothly. 13 people are working on the line, assembling companions. Process improves with every shift. We take time to do videos. Some of you like them, some of you hate them. But anyway, we show you progress. And I believe we are one of the few campaigns allowed to show you that level of details in a factory. The stream of updates continues until June, but we are not happy. Why? because the production is not ramping up as expected. I didn't want to bother you with such a level of details, but basically because we were pushing the plastics factory, they rushed and we had a lot of defects. We reached a point where we were short of plastics parts. It's as simple as that. And I was really upset, talked to the big boss because I couldn't understand how that could happen. But again, I understood that as a young startup, we are basically nothing. We have no priority, no leverage. We pass after everybody else. So it's so frustrating, believe me. In June, production doesn't ramp up. We are so upset that we ring the bell again. The big boss of the Americas flies to Tijuana to check the team. And I'm really happy about that because right after the meeting, we finally have a spreadsheet with hard engagements and deadlines. And this is a document, by the way, we will share on Facebook. So you will see there is a planned delivery, actual produce, what is shipped. It's updated each week. And then each end of week, they send pallets to San Diego. Then I personally organize shipping to our warehouse in Florida. And I guess some of you still don't believe me, but everything went wrong. On the first shipment, we had 6 pallets that got lost. We decided to work with a huge trucking company, one of the largest carriers in the US, and they lost 6 pallets, the first shipment. Then same story with the second shipment, then late on the third. I mean, come on. How is this possible? So now we have change, and hopefully, finger crossed, everything will go smoothly. Okay, then our logistic partner got inspected 2 weeks ago regarding how they handle and how they ship hazmat products. Now, from January 2017, they need all kinds of accreditations, certifications, otherwise they can't ship lithium-ion batteries, for instance. We also thought they would send automatic notifications with your tracking numbers, but they didn't, so we took care of it yesterday. We still have some glitches sometimes, but it seems to be okay now. So to sum up, we had all the possible issues at every single level. And icing on the cake, Target put us on their website without informing us. Obviously, I totally understand that everybody is upset about it. I immediately called them and managed to withdraw the products until next week. But also, when they said we will be on shelves not before the end of next week, you can imagine my surprise when you guys sent photos taken Friday in stores. To end this video, because I already talked too much, I must say that we told Target that we won't refill their inventory before end of August, before having sent all the products to you guys. Please understand that Target is a one-of-a-lifetime opportunity. We are very, very sorry that we miscommunicated these past weeks. I totally understand that you are upset. I would be as well. The initial plan was perfect on paper. We took buffers everywhere. And unfortunately, when things start to go bad, it's often a chain reaction. We are now trying to find the best solution so that everybody is happy. We will fulfill all the orders. We are not a scam, please. No need for class actions. We are a small team. We can't afford to lose time and money with lawsuits. We have a lot of work to do. We need to keep improving the product, the apps. We need to gather your feedback. This product is about children. I have 2 kids. They love the watch. I hope yours will too. I'd be super happy if you could send photos or video of them using Octopus, and please give us feedback. Thanks for listening. Pardon my English, and feel free to reach out to me directly if you want. I try to answer to all the messages, even if I have to admit that it's really, really difficult these days. Basically, all the team is spending their day answering emails and messages instead of doing the rest. Thanks again for your support. Cheers.